holly hanging across the door, neighbors singing tales of yore. It's so close, hardly can.
Hello everyone, Abby here, Purple Cottage Crafts, and welcome back to another video here on my channel. This one is going to be a complete flip through of one of the 3 little vintage postcard journals that I recently finished. And while I'm showing you the cover here, I do have a space heater on, and there's a possibility that the main heater wall-mounted system that's in the garage here may kick on. It is -21 today, and so I have to keep the heater on, so hopefully it's not too annoying. So I made a super simple little dust cover bag, whatever you want to call it, for each journal, and I just tied on some really beautiful vintage lace right here. That way you could untie it and use it for something else. I wanted to make the bag kind of like an item you could repurpose if you wanted to do so. So all I did was a super simple stitching on here. You could take apart the bag by just snipping off the threads if you want to do that and use it in a different application. Same thing with the vintage button that's on there. So just a really cute, fun little bag that you can use for other projects if you choose to do so. Okay, so here's the journal that is tucked inside that dust cover, and this is an old bingo card. I do have a tutorial that I uploaded. I'll link it below in case you haven't seen it, on how I do the really super simple fabric binding. And this is the front of the vintage postcard. It's so cute. So cute. And on the inside, on the backs of these, I like to keep the original, what you can see. Sometimes you can see the date, just kind of like the little notes that they put on there. I don't cover it because I personally like that. I think it's really fun to kind of read through them. There's a strip of fabric, and then we have an old envelope, and here we have a little pocket, tuck, whatever you want to call it, and this is an old photograph. Looks like she might be on a ship or maybe a ferry or something like that. And then there's writing on the back, and then this is part of a canceled vintage or older railroad check. So that's what's in there. And then on the front of that little pocket, I just have a little collection of some fabrics and a vintage button, and this is also vintage. This is from World War II. I have a ball of this. It's nylons that I picked up from my favorite fabric store in Butte. This is an old greeting card, really pretty. And I didn't do anything to the greeting card in the front or the back because I wanted to leave it in its original state because I like that. But you of course can do what you wish, and I just love how you can see that. It's textural too. This is a photo from Tim Holtz that I just coffee dyed, and it's attached with a rusted paper clip with some vintage lace on top. And there's the inside of the greeting card. And then I have a lot of my slow stitchy collagey bits in here too, so you're going to see quite a bit of those. And then this here is real fun. This is some of the book spine that you see back here, that netting type of stuff, and that's on the end. This was actually attached to that because it was part of a book that somebody repaired, and I thought it was kind of cool. I like how it looks, the texture of that. And then this is just some packaging from Amazon, I believe. And I just layered that down. I just like the way it feels, and you can write on it too. And then just some more stitching there, and just some vintage papers. I kind of just collaged little bits here and there because you can write over them. I like the way it looks. This is some old lace right there, and I just stitched it on. This is from a vintage, is it from the fabric store or some type of a business like that? And I just cut it down a little bit, and you can just flip it up like that, and there's some old tape right there. And then I have some of this really cool tatting material that I just stitched down, as you can see. Now I leave the strings on here, but of course you can cut them off if you want to do that, if you don't like how that looks. This is just some crinkled deli paper stapled on some fabric. This is from an old album. I think it's a 45 if I remember right, and I just put that in there. I like the colors of it, and that's an old Take It From London Timmy thing there. And inside, this is just part of something I'm not going to tell you guys yet because I have a video coming up on that, but it's a really cool, fun texture. This is an old, this is actually like a kind of like a chipboardy type of bingo marker that I got into a box set. It's really cool, really fun. And there's that, just some brown craft paper. There's a vintage stamp. And over here we have another part of an old envelope, and then just a vintage, all the buttons in here are vintage, by the way, in case I forget to mention that. And this is just some handmade paper that I picked up somewhere. And on this page here we have a piece of an old doily with a strip of fabric, and again just some more stitching. This is some of my kind of like my DIY washi tape. It's just fabric medical tape with just coffee on it, and I have a video on that too, and I'll link that below if I can find it because I did that quite a few years ago, or a little while ago anyway. So here we have a tip-in. This is from an old greeting card. It's actually from the town I was born in. It's from Lebanon something florist. I don't remember exactly, but you can faintly see it right there. And it's little envelopes when you get like flowers delivered. And then here I just have a couple photos of an old yearbook, and then inside, and I'm not going to take the time to put all these things back in just because I don't want to make this too super long, but I just used some grommets and just put together just a collection of some papers that you can use for journaling or whatever it is you want to do. And then there's that, and I just left the loveliness of the old envelope in there. So a lot of fun. I love tip-ins. You're going to see a lot of those in my journals. And then down here, another vintage stamp with some stitching. This is from an old book that I found. It's like one of the flyleaf pages, and I like how you can just, it's a textural thing. I love it, and it's a little bit translucent, so you can just flip it up and you can journal. And then up here I just use some more of that material that I'll explain in a future video what it is, along with a piece. This is actually from some paper from 1839, I believe it is. And on the side, just some older rickrack right there. All right, next, this is that same material that's flapped over the other side. And then just a fabric bit right there. And this is the center card. I cut this from a greeting card or something. I can't remember exactly. I have that, and I thought that was just a really pretty center. This is a Tim Holtz thing right there. And I just inked the back so it wasn't like a stark white. This is glued down, but I thought it was kind of fun to have that. This is part of a vintage baby dress here, little girl's dress. I just like how that feels when you're holding the book. And then here we have another page. Sorry for the glare, you guys. This is another tip-in here. And this is a little boy in the snow. And it flips open like that. And then I just did some collage of some different papers on the back side. And in the tutorial, I show you guys how I make those. And then this is part of an old book as well. When you see this particular paper, it's end papers from an old book. And then here we have another vintage stamp. Just some unbleached, this is some unbleached cheesecloth there and an old button. Thought that was cute and fun. And we're just going through the back side now, of course, but this is that same handmade paper that I showed you earlier. And just some more papers that were collaged on there, because I just think it's fun, and it's just a, you know, interesting look to your journals, I think. And then there, just more fabric with some seed stitching. This is some old piano roll paper here. This is the back side, of course, of that album cover. This is some vintage trim that I have on there with an old button. There's a little bit of some lace, and I love how it pokes over the side. I think that looks really, really nice. I like it. This is off of an old button card. It was already almost torn off, so I just went ahead and ripped off the rest of it, and I just put that on there, kind of like a little page tab, I guess. And I kept that sticker. I thought that was really cool that, you know, that was originally 10 cents. And this is some older parchment type paper. And then just some more fabrics stitched on, a rusty safety pin stitched onto some fabrics. That's what I'm trying to say. And then there's some more of that rickrack trim there. And then here we have another little bit. And this is on some masking paper that you can get from any local hardware store. Another old stamp. And then this is some really old super brittle sheet music. It's not Christmas, but I liked the colors in it, the red. I thought that was really fun. So that's on there. And again, just some more collage. And this is more of that paper. That's from 1839. It's just got a lovely feel to it. And here we have just some more craft paper. This just flips open. It's a little mini tip out, I guess you could say. And then this is the other part of the greeting card in there. And just some more fabric and tea bags collage with an old button. Just some fun stuff. These kind of things are really super simple, and they really add a lot to your journal, I think. Here's a belly band with another vintage button, and then I put inside here just these two little things, and I'll show you in a moment what they are. And then we're getting close to the end. This is the back part of that envelope again, and I'll pull these out and show those to you in a moment. I just love how that looks. It's all naturally aged. And there's the front part, and then this is the back of the journal, which is the vintage bingo cards. So in here, this little pocket, I have, this is the bottom part of a button card, and it's Lady Washington Baby Pearls, and it came in a mixed lot of buttons that I purchased. So I thought those were fun. You could, you know, keep them, your room, display them, you can use them, whatever it is you want to do. So I thought that was kind of a fun little thing to add in there. And that's a little bit of fabric and decoration that I put on that side there. Okay, so here are the two tags that were in that one back part of the envelope. This is just a tag here from Santa Fe, and then this is just a a white tag that I just wrapped some more of that 1839 paper around. I didn't want to fuss with them too much, that way you would have more room to journal. Okay, for the two little envelopes that go in the belly band, this one has some collage fabric with some stitching on it, and then inside here, this little glassine envelope, I just have a selection of vintage, I think it's, some stamps, or excuse me, did I put stamps in there? Vintage bus tickets, from England. And this is just one of the key tags that I coffee dyed, and here's another piece of the vintage bingo marker. It's right there. So you get a little selection of those things inside this envelope here. And then another tiny one. This is part of an old book. And then this is just some craft paper. That's a rusty safety pin or paper clip. Oh my goodness, I always mess those up. And there's that. And we'll open this baby up here. And inside this one is just a collection of some rusty paper clips and safety pins that I've done. Some are rust, some are eco-dyed. That way you could use these to pin in some memories or whatever it is you want to do with this. Gift them to somebody else, whatever you would like. So here are the contents of the two little envelopes. So something I wanted to note on these two here, you could completely cut these off, like this front panel here, and you could use it on a different project if you wanted to do that. So you don't have to keep it in an envelope if you prefer not to do that. Okay, so that is Vintage Postcard Journal number 1, and that's how it will be listed on my website. She is a beautiful chunky monkey, and this is the chunkiest of the 3 that I did. I love it. I love how thick it is. I just love all the different textures that you can feel and see when you're holding the journal, and even when you're writing inside of it, you can just kind of rub your fingers across the different materials and textiles and papers and stuff. So I hope that you guys enjoy this little journal. She will be available up on my website, and she'll be packaged all nicely inside of her little dust cover, and I always include a couple extra things just for a little surprise. So I will have a direct link to this listing in the description box below. And I thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!